Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. The next video we're going to do is the missing 4-year-old girl in Aiken County, Javeayah Harris. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have any viral videos that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post them in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have any issues involving violations of civil rights, police misconduct, or injustice, send that to me through direct message over on Instagram, and we can talk about that over there. If you've had any issues with violations of civil rights, a relative, or like a friend or anybody like that, or something happened to them and they're no longer here and you're trying to fight for justice, or, whatever the case may be, if you got a civil rights attorney similar to Ben Crump on the case, or anything like that, give me the details about that, and I can, help with bringing more awareness and pushing the message to push for you, your family, yourself, or whoever to get justice for whatever happened. Also, make sure you come follow me over on Instagram because I post over there as well too. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. And let's get into this.
Tonight, it has been more than 24 hours since this 4-year-old little girl was last seen.
39 Hillsborough Street, 39 Hillsborough Street.
The alert
4-year-old pediatric missing.
from a dispatcher in Aiken County just moments after the 911 call.
20, 30 minutes ago, wearing a pink Minnie Mouse pajamas.
Javeayah Harris believed to have wandered away from her home. What that caller told 911 over the phone is what deputies say this expansive and exhaustive search has been based on. Knocking door to door in neighborhoods through the night. Today, from the air and on the ground, it is a search that continues. There is a growing list of concerns tonight. Among the temperature and humidity little Javeayah could be lost in. And perhaps the biggest question, at just 4 years old and not even 4 feet tall, how far could she have gotten?
Advertisement, y'all.
Hello, everybody. We begin question. At just 4 years old and not even 4 feet tall, how far could she have gotten? Hello, everybody. We begin tonight following that local breaking news alert out of Aiken County, where it has now been more than a day since Javeayah Harris was reported missing. That was her picture you just saw right now. Sydney Hood standing by. So many people want to know how can they help tonight, and the best way is taking that picture of this little girl and sharing it however you can, whether that is taking it from our social media, from our website, from the Aiken County Sheriff's Office social media, putting it on yours and spreading the news that this little girl is missing tonight. Last seen on Hillsborough Street near Ridgecrest Road, wearing pink Minnie Mouse pajamas, Crocs, and she had pink braids when she was last seen. The search on your screen, where this map is zooming into, north of the city of Aiken, south of I-20, in this neighborhood, that is where law enforcement has converged for the last almost 24 hours. They used bloodhounds, canines. They were in the air with a sled helicopter, with drones, and door to door, including through the night. That is where they knocked to ask, has anyone got any information about where this little girl could be? That tip line there on your screen, 803-502-5200. No tip, we were told today, no detail in this case is too small for you to pass it along. They are needing a break tonight there to find this missing 4-year-old little girl, Javeayah Harris there. We were first last night to tell you about this story. We were first to be there on the scene. There has been a command center at Bethel Baptist Church in Aiken County, and that is where Sydney Palmer is tonight. She has talked to the pastor of that church. Sydney, I thought it was iconic when you were there with us earlier. I was there with you earlier, I should say. To hear that pastor's story about having a meeting today, a congregation was coming together to celebrate the 4th of July, and how that changed. A church that opened its doors not for its congregation, but for a community of law enforcement on a very specific mission.
That's right, Brett. As you can see behind me, the scene has kind of started to close, but one community member, like you mentioned, Pastor Stan Adams, really stepped up today. He got here around 1:30 this morning. He found out that his church was going to be the command center late last night and didn't really think much of it. He just thought they would be using his restrooms, but he ended up getting here this morning around 1:30 and stayed throughout the entire search today. And they were meant to have a 4th of July celebration as a part of their congregation, but because the parking lot was completely blocked off earlier today, he decided to pivot and instead use those hot dogs and 4th of July decorations that he had to kind of lift up the crew and law enforcement agencies that were searching for 4-year-old Javeayah Harris today. And even though he was able to provide and lift spirits just a little bit for that brief moment, Javeayah Harris is still missing. What is typically a place of fun and fellowship has a different feeling this evening as the search for 4-year-old Javeayah Harris continues.
They called me this morning at 1:30 and come and open the fellowship hall so they could have restrooms and a cool place to get and those kind of things, and of course water and all that. So I've been here since 1:30 this morning.
And over 24 hours later, amid brutal heat, this little girl who's not even 4 feet tall is still missing. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, FBI, and other law enforcement agencies have been working since Tuesday night.
And everyone is like working on this case. The reason why I haven't really stopped very much is because there's like an update, and so I have another video where we'll get to that, but I wanted people to see the basic of the case before I get into that update. Just wanted to pause for a moment and let y'all know why I'm not really stopping and talking a lot, because the update really is sad. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the young Tripp family. And let's continue.
Locate this little girl, not even 4 feet tall, is still missing. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, FBI, and other law enforcement agencies have been working since Tuesday night to locate this little girl. And as the hours tick on, so does the urgency.
And I plan on having just a word of prayer with them real quick, thanking them for their efforts and asking God to direct and continue through the night to continue directing that we'll be able to find this little girl.
And like Brett mentioned, it's been over 24 hours since 4-year-old Javeayah Harris went missing, and the search has kind of calmed down tonight. They'll be back here in the morning, but Aiken County is asking that communities stay out of this area just so that they can make sure that they're being as effective as this with the search. But if you know anything about this 4-year-old little girl, Javeayah Harris, give the tip line a call.
And Cindy, we certainly expected that wind down of this search tonight. Law enforcement told us it was going to happen. It certainly looks dark behind you, but no point have they given up in this search. They told us that they were going to scale down, not anything like we saw 24 hours ago when we were telling you there was a helicopter above with FLIR, an infrared camera, drones in the air. That search has been extensive, exhaustive. They have essentially done what they could there in that neighborhood. And sitting behind you, I can tell you from being out there with you, they have built a cell phone tower in that parking lot. It's iconic that that pastor said he was there to open it up. That is ground zero for this search now tonight, if you will. That parking lot is not open to the public. I can tell you, deputies are there with police cars. They will not let you near there. That is where the command and control hub for this search is, and where they are sharing critical information with each other in this case. Sydney, thank you for your reporting there. We will check back in with you later. Anyone, again, concerned, so many concerned parents, and absolutely this has to be the worst nightmare for any parent. So many people asking what they can do to help here tonight. And law enforcement telling us that what you can do is take that picture however you get it and put it on your social media. Get the word out in case this little girl, Javeayah Harris, just 4 years old, she is not even 4 feet tall and barely weighs 40 pounds. In case she has made it somehow outside of that area where they are searching, they want her picture everywhere tonight. She was last seen there in that neighborhood, not far from where Sydney was just reporting, just about half a mile where that command center tonight is set up. That little girl last seen at 8:15 last night. You are looking live there. And while it does look empty tonight, this is what we were told to expect. This search is not over, with countless members of law enforcement now devoted to answering the question, where is Javeayah? I bring in my co-anchor weather meteorologist Emily Acton here with me, and we were talking last night as we were breaking the story about you have been warning for a week now that this heat was coming, that the humidity was going to be here. And tonight, while we were sitting talking about this story before air, we used the words dangerous and potentially deadly heat. Your heart breaks for anyone who cares about this little girl, and for the idea that if she did just wander off and she is somewhere there in that area they are searching, the conditions that she has been through today.
Yeah, it's pretty intense to think about. And as you were out there, Brett, and you were in the elements, and it is hot, and you had access to water.
Right.
And ways to stay hydrated, and we don't know if she does have access to it.
Correct.
Most likely probably does not. So that's a big factor. And we're not really cooling off much overnight either. So the humidity rises for the overnight hours, makes it a lot more muggy out, and makes it a lot harder to cool off.
They don't believe how toxic this is. If you're still just rinsing your fruit and veggies under the tap, you need to hear this. I never post stuff like this, but I had to share. I feed my kids every day, so we've gone through our fair share of produce washes. For years, I just rinsed under the tap until I read about my...
Yeah, I'm also bringing you guys the update. Prayers go out to the family that actually cares about her. You'll understand later why I say that. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have any issues involving violations of civil rights, police misconduct, or injustice involving you, a relative, a friend, or anything like that, send me a direct message over on Instagram and we can talk about that over there. You know, if you got a civil rights attorney similar to Ben Crump or Ben Crump himself, to let me know what, what's going on with all of that, and I can help bring more awareness to the situation involving you, your loved one, to fight for them to get justice or for you to get justice. If they're, I can speak with them if they're still here and the police didn't get rid of them permanently. I can speak with them and you and their attorney and stuff like that. And of course, we're trying to bring more awareness to it as an activist myself. If the police did do something to them where they're no longer here, then, of course, I can speak to family and help push for justice to make sure that the police or anybody who's involved, that they are held accountable. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Also, make sure you come follow me over on Instagram because I post over there as well, too. And I will catch y'all on the next one. And prayers go out to the relatives that actually care about this lovely young girl. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. I'm bringing y'all an update on the Javeayah Harris case. It's the outcome that all law enforcement, or a person who always wanted to work in law enforcement, all fears. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have any situations with police misconduct, injustice, or violations of civil rights, and you have a civil rights attorney similar to Ben Crump on the case, already got activists and just wanted another activist to join the case, send me a direct message over on Instagram and let me know the details. Let me know if you have a civil rights attorney, Ben Crump himself or somebody like him, and let me know about you having other activists on the case so I can help them out with helping bring awareness to the situation. If it's something involving you, a relative, a friend, and maybe if they're still here and the police didn't permanently get rid of them, I could speak to them about the situation or you about the situation, help bring awareness to the situation. If they are no longer here as a family, I could sit down with you as a relative and have you explain the situation and what happened, along with, activists, and speak to activists that's on it and everything else. So send me a direct message over on Instagram involving those type of situations. For viral videos, you can send them to me on Instagram or post them in the community tab. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. And let's get into this. This is horrible, man.
It's the outcome that we all feared, and sadly, it's the outcome that we must face.
A heartbreaking search for missing 4-year-old Javeayah Harris has now become a death investigation.
We'll have to face it together as a community. Our search for Javeayah drives on.
Tonight, Javeayah Harris's parents are behind bars and charged in connection with her death.
Sadly, the night of the 911 call on June 30th, when that call was made, it was already too late to save Javeayah.
Investigators say Javeayah...
Her mama should be embarrassed for doing that. It is absolutely insane to make a false police report and lie. You should be embarrassed. And your parents should be embarrassed of you for what you did and what your significant other did. Y'all mama should be embarrassed and y'all daddy should have pulled out. It's the second time on a second video that I've had to say that today. Absolutely insane. Let's continue.
They had been dead for
on June 30th. When that call was made, it was already too late to save Javeayah.
Investigators say Javeayah may have been dead for at least a month, and the search for her body is now focused outside Aiken County.
We are all focused on pursuing justice for Javeayah because that's what she deserves.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, the arrest, the charges, and the unanswered questions in the death of Javeayah Harris.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for News 12 at 6 o'clock. I'm Will Rio. We have live team coverage and new developments in the search for 4-year-old Javeayah Harris. Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer saying today Javeayah is believed to be deceased. Now this is a homicide investigation. The sheriff also telling us that they believe she's been gone for at least a month before she was reported missing with that 911 call. And new tonight, here is our first look at Javeayah's parents. 23-year-old Johmarea Harris and 22-year-old Michilae Herring are behind bars tonight. Both are charged with homicide by child abuse. Herring is also charged with filing a false police report. Even with the charges against the parents, there are so many questions that need answers. One of those being, where is Javeayah? News 12 is on the scene where we are told law enforcement is searching in Great Falls in Chester County, South Carolina. Our Meredith Anderson has provided this photo that shows access to the Debutary Creek area, and it's closed to the public right now. This is not far from
the area where SLED's helicopter flew earlier this afternoon. Here is the flight pattern of SLED's helicopter we tracked taking off from Columbia just earlier this afternoon today. This flight track is publicly available through the company FlightAware. The helicopter appears to make several passes over bodies of water. Now, earlier today, Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer holding a press conference about all of this, giving us new details in the investigation. Your Sydney Hood joining me now, leading off our team coverage here tonight, joining me live in studio. Sydney, this is not the outcome any of us hoped for.
And Will, we talked about earlier how somber it felt at that news conference earlier. Sheriff Sawyer saying that this is the heaviest announcement he has had to give in his 36 years working in law enforcement. Sheriff Sawyer saying today that it was already too late to save 4-year-old Javeayah Harris the moment that 911 call came in on June 30th. Now, we do want to say we have requested that 911 call through a FOIA request. We are waiting to hear back on that, though it may not be in our hands soon, given that this is still an ongoing investigation. Sheriff Sawyer also said today their investigation and evidence leads them to believe that Javeayah is deceased and has been for at least a month. Tonight, Javeayah's parents face homicide by child abuse charges, and deputies also charged her mom with filing a false police report as well. The sheriff's office says additional charges are possible. They also said they put every resource available to find Javeayah to bring her home safely. Roughly 200 or so individuals on the law enforcement side of things played a role in her search this week. We're talking about local agencies, state agencies with...
And there was never a chance at bringing her home safely. So now you understand why in my first part of the video, why I didn't really speak about it too much. It's absolutely insane. The mother making a false police report, knowing that her child is no longer here and there is no way of bringing her home safely. She is absolutely, she's a despicable human being. Let's continue.
And the roughly 200 or so individuals on the law enforcement side of things played a role in her search this week. We're talking about local agencies, state agencies with SLED and the FBI, covering roughly 5,000 acres of land, navigating brutal heat on top of that. And even though this is not the outcome anyone wanted, the sheriff said today their search for Javeayah still drives on.
It's the outcome that we all feared.
I couldn't believe how much mucus came out of my lungs the first time I tried this. It felt like I could finally breathe, and you were probably told that when you get older.
And sadly,
even though this is not the outcome anyone wanted, the sheriff said today their search for Javeayah still drives on.
It's the outcome that we all feared. And sadly, it's the outcome that we must face. We'll have to face it together as a community. Our search for Javeayah drives on. We are continuing to put massive law enforcement resources to work to recover Javeayah and bring her home. We all hoped and prayed to find her alive. But it's extremely important to bring her home to her family, and it's important to bring her home for us.
And Will, you see it on their faces as Sheriff Sawyer is saying those words, just the somberness and all of it. You heard it in Sheriff Sawyer's voice as well. But all week long, the search has focused in the area where Javeayah was first reported missing. You and I, we've been in that neighborhood all week, Will, just watching them go door to door, questioning neighbors, searching through yards. They've been walking on the ground and as well in the sky as well. They were looking with sleds, helicopters, and they had the drones in the sky.
I mean, they were using every resource to try to find her. These officers really wanted to find her, and the parents didn't even give them an opportunity because they did it. It was all false. She was already gone by the time the call was even made. Absolutely insane. Like I said already, their mamas and daddies should be embarrassed. They mama should be embarrassed and they daddy should have pulled out. Let's continue.
As well, but today was the walking on the ground and as well in the sky as well. They were looking with sleds, helicopters, and they had the drones in the sky as well. But today was the first time that we learned that they are searching in an area outside of Aiken County. Again, they didn't specify where, but that was a new detail for us today.
And the sheriff talked about that. Listen to this.
We are currently searching an area of interest right now, not in Aiken County. And I am not disclosing where that's at. But I'm sure you understand, if in fact Javeayah's body is where we think it is, it's going to be a difficult time for everybody there. And we don't need anybody from the outside of law enforcement, trying to access that area.
And while the search for Javeayah...
It really does seem like they actually care. And it's sad that she can't be found alive because her parents is the ones who did this. It's absolutely insane. Let's continue.
It continues.
Anybody from the outside of law enforcement, trying to access that area.
And while the search for Javeayah continues, I want to talk about the community response in all of this, Will. With the tip line, we shared that multiple times, as well as the website the Aiken County Sheriff's Office mentioned earlier this week, asking the public to share any photos or videos that they believe could help law enforcement inch any closer to finding Javeayah and bringing her home. And originally, Will, the Sheriff's Office asked for any photos or videos from the public from June 15th to June 30th, of course, at the date that Javeayah was reported missing. But the Sheriff's Office told me that those dates were just a general time range that they went with initially before shifting to asking for anything and everything that anybody had related to this investigation.
Yeah, and the FBI also, of course, joining in this search. You talked about the video from June 15th. Obviously, that was not a month ago, but a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't really understand why they were asking for that. Again, it was an initial period that they were looking for, but it begs the question, really, of why they wanted to know what, like, around that time frame, what was going on, and if something had happened beforehand too. So it gives us some perspective of what was going on. But the FBI said, and how video in neighborhoods, in some of the canvassing that they were doing, I mean, we heard that a lot from neighbors here today out in their neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. And they talked about the FBI, how those video evidence and the canvassing helped them in their investigation, as well as those roadblocks as well.
With the information we had at the time, we put every available resource into finding Javeayah.
This is the AC device my team spent 3 years building because every air conditioner on the market kept letting people down. Every cooling solution has the same fundamental flaw, and nobody was fixing it. You see, traditional ACs all rely on compressors.
That included dozens of, with the information we had at the time, we put every available resource into finding Javeayah. That included dozens of FBI personnel who were part of the searches, the neighborhood canvasses, the digital media review, and interviews. We also had members of the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit, the Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, and our technical experts involved. Whenever a child goes missing, it's a joint effort to find them, and the FBI works hand in glove to assist law enforcement agencies in doing so. It's heartbreaking that we are not standing here with better news. We want to thank the community for all the support, for the tips, and for showing compassion in trying to locate Javeayah.
And much of that search taking place in the neighborhood near Hillsborough Street and Ridgecrest Road, where Javeayah was reported missing.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, you and I walked that same neighborhood ourselves, just trying to get a feel for the area and talking to neighbors as well. And we actually went out there today to again speak to neighbors to see what they saw, what they've heard, and just kind of, you know, how they're feeling out there. And they told me that it's a neighborhood, Will, that they all tend to keep to themselves, that they don't really
venture out that much, but I can say I did see a lot of people sitting on their front porches this week, cooperating with law enforcement, offering any ring camera video that they may have, answering any questions that they could do to the best of their ability. Because again, we talk about just the community response in this. A lot of those neighbors were worried, still are worried about Javeayah and where she's at, and they just wanted to play some help in helping law enforcement find her and bring her back home. And again, Sheriff's Office said this multiple times today, that is now where their focus is at, is finding Javeayah and bringing her back home to her family and to this community as well.
And a lot of those neighbors also telling us that they hadn't seen Javeayah in quite a long time, and saying that the family actually moved to that area not too long ago, a couple of months ago. So your City Palmer is actually live at that Aiken neighborhood, or at least near that. Sydney, you spoke with a nearby gas station owner who saw the father in the store the day that Javeayah was reported missing. How is he reacting to all of this?
Well, Will, originally he said that when he heard that 4-year-old Javeayah Harris was reported missing, he didn't really think anything of it. Javeayah Harris's father is actually a regular at the end market that you see behind me. And this end market is actually about half a mile from where the command center was posted all this week. And agents had been coming in and out of this end market, looking at security footage, kind of just evaluating the situation because it is so close to the neighborhood, to the command center. And the store manager told us that originally Javeayah Harris's father's story lined up. But he said that he did start to get a bit suspicious when neighbors were coming in and telling him that they hadn't seen the 4-year-old Javeayah Harris in about a month. And he said with new details today, he has more and more questions.
About a mile away from where 4-year-old Javeayah Harris went missing, this convenience store has been a key part of the search. But with new details released today, manager Vernon Fields is left with a lot of questions.
Thought the store was checking out too good, because everywhere that he went, he said he went, he was there, including here. You know, we got time stamps and everything, credit card receipts, what he bought, what he did when he came in here. So the story was lining up.
Javeayah Harris's father was a regular at the end market.
He comes in the store quite often, so when I pulled the footage up, I knew who I was looking at, or whatever, because he comes in a lot. They live maybe 3 minutes down the road from here, if that. He came in just regular. He come in, buy something to drink, maybe buy a Black & Mild, something like that, and, you know, get some gas and go on about his way. You know, he did the same thing the day that they say the little girl was missing.
But something about the story just wasn't adding up for him.
I wasn't surprised when they said they felt like it had happened over a month ago or close to a month ago. I wasn't surprised because it was what I was thinking. So I was like, his story's adding up, but it was perfect. It was more like playing.
And today, he is not only left with shock.
I mean, stuff happens here, but not with little kids.
But also gratitude.
You know, I'm just grateful, you know, because, you know, my daughters are my life.
And in the midst of this tragedy, Vernon Fields told us that he's been really surprised and really just heartwarmed by the community response, because this end market in Shiloh Fields, he says everyone in this neighborhood kind of comes in and out of this convenience store. And he said the community response has been really great to see, like Sydney said before. So he's really just hoping for the best for this family and hoping that the missing 4-year-old Javeayah Harris is found safely.
You're absolutely right, Sydney. We appreciate that update there from that store manager's perspective, as well as a perspective from several neighbors out there. I know everyone wants to see Javeayah come home. This is obviously a recovery mission at this point, not a missing child search like we were told earlier this week. And this is going to be something that we continue to follow. Your Meredith Anderson is out in Great Falls, South Carolina, out near Chester County right now, trying to get more details on that search for Javeayah Harris. We don't know if it's related to her at this point, but again, SLED's helicopter did take off around noon and was around several bodies of water, but that is still unconfirmed. We're still waiting to find out what that is related to. But again, your Meredith Anderson is on the ground out there. Any new information, we'll keep you updated right here on air and also on WRDW.com.
Why is everyone dropping Starbucks for this protein coffee? Is it because their Black Friday sale with free gifts is still on? Or do people suddenly understand that drinking hundreds of calories for a ridiculous amount of money at Starbucks is crazy, and that hidden protein can actually be easy, healthy, and delicious? Maybe it is because people notice.
We have a breaking news update.
Yeah, that is very heartbreaking that it had to come to that regarding her case. It's very unfortunate. If her parents had something to do with it, which it looks like that they did, hopefully that they are held accountable. But yeah, and it looks like she's been missing, obviously, for at least a month now. Obviously, it's not the outcome that anybody wanted. But obviously, they're still on the case, and they're still trying to bring her home to at least to put her to rest. This case really reminds me of a case back here in Kansas City regarding Lisa Erlin. Some people know about that case. I actually posted that on my channel as well, too. Yeah. Very, just very unfortunate. Let me know what you guys think. I'll have the original video pinned at the top of the chat and in a link in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have any situations with police misconduct, injustice, or violations of civil rights, and you have a civil rights attorney similar to Ben Crump or somebody like that on the case, and other activists, and you want another activist to bring more media coverage to the situation involving you, a relative, a friend, or someone who's experienced injustice, or if the person is no longer here and you are fighting for a relative regarding police injustice, send me a direct message over on Instagram and we can talk about that over there to try to help fight for justice for you and your family. Make sure you come follow me over on Instagram as well too, because I post over there. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Tripp family. And if these parents definitely did this to their child, their mama should be embarrassed and their daddy should have pulled out. No more talk. Peace, y'all.